You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Hello, humans. Welcome to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast on BQN. We're here to showcase the films you probably missed but should definitely check out. From independent and obscure to art house and absurd, each episode will gather, perhaps with a cocktail in hand, to discuss it all. I'm your host, Matt Jennings, and with me today is my lovely co-host, Mark. Mark, how's it going?
Hey, Matt. How's your summer been?
My summer has been full of lots of hanging out. I went to New York. I went to a Star Trek convention in Las Vegas. It's been good.
Awesome.
So how was yours?
Are you okay today? Have you made it? Are you with us? I'm good, Matt. I've been getting down and dirty this summer.
Oh
y-
my.
Yeah, I've been on my knees.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, no, I've been doing a lot of gardening actually lately. So
Is that what the young people call it nowadays? They call it
yeah,
gardening?
well, you should see my zucchini. I will
Jeez.
show you maybe when the pod's over.
Listeners. That's going to be our exclusive. That's our exclusive footage.
I'll even post the clip so the listeners can see the zucchini too.
Just a teaser, but you have to
Just
subscribe to get the full video.
exactly.
So, are you drinking something? Do you have something in hand?
I do. So yeah, I wasn't really sure. I wasn't actually feeling hard alcohol today.
Mhm.
I've got some stuff to do today. So I ended up grabbing a Down East pineapple hard cider. So it's
Oh
apple
my.
cider, but it's like pineapple flavored, and Down East is like a local brewery that does it. So
Oh, I was gonna ask where I could get that. That sounds delicious. Oh, listen to that
yeah, I don't know, maybe
ASMR.
Amazon. I don't know.
Maybe you're right. It might be on Amazon. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
As for
Down East
me,
cider is pretty popular. It's one of the bigger name ciders.
I've got my usual wine cooler-esque drink. I've got my peach Bellini from Trader Joe's, which
Mm.
tastes very delicious and very peachy today because
I know
I
you
love
like eating
eating
peaches.
peaches. Jinx.
We're both filthy McNasty. Great.
This is going to be a fun pod today. So, what has been in your tube recently? What have you been
Oh,
watching?
I've been watching. Well, I figured out that AMC actually they have I guess they're owned now by the giant company that's like owns HBO and Time Warner and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they have a whole bunch of these older black and white films on the AMC sort of channel on HBO, and I watched Seven Samurai the other night, the Kurosawa film.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's so good. Like I don't speak Japanese, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know you don't need to appreciate really good cinema, and it was awesome. So I definitely enjoyed that. What about
Now,
you? What you been watching?
um, well, quick question about that. I don't know if this is a thing or not. And also, listeners, if you know the information, go ahead and leave a comment. But isn't Seven Samurai, isn't that the one that's got the first use of slow motion in a film? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I could be crazy.
I don't know. I don't have that answer for you, but maybe we will cover it on the pod and then get the answer.
Maybe.
If not, we can look it up by next episode and fill you all
Yeah.
in.
Let's see. I started watching Supercell. And that is it's a show that is about these this group of black people that are basically being um experimented on for their super abilities, I believe. I believe that's what it is, or they're being manipulated to the point that that their super abilities start to take over. But there's, long story short, there is some sort of secret organization that is experimenting on Black people because of their super abilities. I'm only on episode 3, so it's very new, and I don't have all the information on the story yet. But it's very interesting, very very interesting. I like it.
Cool. Worth checking it. Now, where can people watch it?
Oh, go ahead and check it out on Netflix.
Cool.
The show is based. It takes place in England, so I'm assuming that. I mean, it's also got to be filmed in England for sure. And I believe they're using primarily English actors as well.
In
But
the UK,
some of them have
or,
Cockney accents.
or,
Some of
or
them
they
do.
in the UK,
We're gonna get
and they
canceled.
have superpowers.
We're
Or
gonna get canceled. This is the last one. This
do
is
they
it.
have Austin superpowers? No, just kidding.
But
Okay, I'm done.
I think that is a perfect segue as we start to talk about the film of today. The film that we're going to speak about today is called Get Real.
Get
That is
out.
that's a different movie,
Oh.
but also a very good movie. Get Real stars Ben Silverstone, who plays the role of Steven, who spends his school days longing for an all-star athlete named John. John has a gorgeous girlfriend, and Steven is still in the closet. However, the only one who knows Steven's secret is his friend Linda, played by Charlotte Brittain. After a curious run-in that Steven has with John in a public restroom, Steven starts to wonder if the jock is straight after all. When they start a romance, it threatens to expose the truth about both of them. This film was released in 1998. It was directed by Simon Shore and adapted from the play What's Wrong with Angry. So, hopping right into it. Mark, why did you want to watch?
I wanted to watch to figure out if I've watched it. I'm gonna be honest, no, because I text you while I was watching this film. This film meets every criteria that of films that I was checking out when I was in high school and college. I mean, it's a gay film, it's a foreign film, it's kind of sexy, erotic. There's some steamy moments in there. It was really like, checking off all those boxes for me, and I was like, okay, did I actually see this? I'm still confused on whether or not I watched this before or not. I still can't answer that question. But I can say that I was just loving every frame, getting transported back to that time in my life, feeling all the feels. You really know how to pick the movies, man. I'm so glad I'm doing this pod with you. This movie was so relatable. Like I felt each of the characters in this film, and I could relate to so many of them. And anyway, I think that the audience, when you guys watch, will feel the same, or at least I hope you do.
Yeah. I wanted to watch this movie and revisit this because I think the last time that I saw it, I was probably 18 or maybe 20. That's got to be the latest time that I saw that. And that was quite some moons ago, without giving away my age, listeners. Um, so I wanted to
Matt and I
revisit.
are the same age.
We're the same age,
We're like the
listener.
same person.
Yes. But I wanted to revisit it, and I knew watching it again that it would have a different effect on me and that I would see different things, and I definitely saw different things. And I want to say that when I watched the movie at the time, when I was younger for the first time, it hit me in a different way. I mean, you have these two gay characters that are coming to terms with who they are. They're exploring sexuality, they're exploring a relationship with each other for the first time. And, I was in that place too. I don't think that I was quite with my first boyfriend yet. That was probably maybe a year down the road. This movie came out in 98, and I first saw it in 2003. and I didn't have my first boyfriend until 2004. So this movie was already a couple of years old at that point. But at that point when I saw it, the movie was meeting me at about where it was. It was very appropriate for me to watch these characters live this life as I was living it, more or less in real time. Now going back and revisiting it, I saw a whole bunch of different things. Obviously, there was the angst of coming out. There was the confusion, the fear, the joy, and the exploration of figuring out who you were or who you are. I think there's also just the element that I saw of, I think, just the joy of someone choosing themselves in many different ways in this movie, whether it's in terms of acceptance of oneself, deciding to leave a situation that's no good for you. um I enjoyed it much more because I saw that element out of this. So yeah, that's why I wanted to watch it and give it a second look. So moving on from that, one of the things that we see in this movie is the character of Steven going to this bathroom in a park in his neighborhood to hook up with men. So, my question is, in the age or before the age of the apps that we have now, we've got Grinder, we've got Scruff, we've got Sniffies, we've got Jacked, we've got Manhunt.
Nobody
Before those,
uses Manhunt, honey. This is 2024. Manhunt's been defunct since at least 2007. I don't
really,
know. It's not.
is it
It's
not
not even
using?
around anymore.
Are
What?
people not using Manhunt anymore?
Manhunt,
I don't know.
girl.
I don't know. I don't know what you young people are doing.
I
I don't
think you just dated us.
know. So I want to make it very clear. We're also not here to kink shame. You want to hook up, you do you. By all means, you do you. Just be safe. Use PrEP and get on PEP.
This episode was sponsored by Prep.
So,
Was there a question there somewhere?
yes, with all that being said, my question is, how do you think that the hookup culture has changed? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it the same? Let's discuss.
Well, I want to talk about jumping off that question. I want to talk about the reality of the gay culture that's often ignored when it comes to the silver screen, right? Certain topics are shied away from, certain realities are sort of hidden and still kept in the closet because I think there's this push right now to be, well, honestly, with gay films too, being a little woke, being a little non-offensive, you know, and that's just not who the gay culture ever has been. We've always been a culture that pushed the boundaries, that were a little edgy. The humor, that we joke around with ourselves, with our peers. If you just watch RuPaul's Drag Race, it's like you watch them reading each other, and I mean, this is stuff that we do on a normal basis, right? And so here we are watching a film and discussing a film for a certain time, yes, before all of these apps and stuff. But I love the fact that they didn't. I guess they didn't shy away from it, or even I don't feel like they judged it. I felt like they painted the reality of
Mhm.
this kid's journey, and this is a place that he went. The people that were looking down on it were I guess probably the people worried about him, like his family members and then his friends and stuff. They were just concerned for
Right.
his safety, obviously, clearly. But he was utilizing that as a tool to meet people at a time when it was really, really difficult. And in the 90s, you know, back before all that stuff, it was still one of those things where you either kind of had to know somebody or like look for signals or try to speak in code and
Oh
there was all of
gosh.
this stuff. And
Yeah.
that came across in this film. Now, nowadays, yes, there's, all of these different various apps, but I feel like that is kind of almost homogenized the experience, and made it, I mean, almost like, the straight culture is doing the same thing. I mean, the
Right,
straight
right.
people now are going on, Tinder and Bumble and all of these other, the straight people dating apps. So I feel like in that way, the cultures have sort of collided. We're all
Mhm.
kind of meeting people as a society now in very similar ways. Now, gay people still, I mean, those apps that you discussed, that you were talking about, Grinder, Scruff, Sniffies, all of that
And
stuff.
Manhunt.
Yeah, I guess, man. Uh, I swear it's not around anymore. Anyway, yes, the idea is if you have an account with one of these, you're probably looking to get laid. Whereas I think some of the straight sites is more of like, okay, we want to go on a date. So in that regard, it hasn't changed. But I feel like things are, I guess, a lot safer. And, or there are opportunities more now for safety than before. Before it was just sort of like very random, uh, and you could possibly bump into somebody in one of these places if you heard this is a cruising spot or not. Um, I don't really have much of an experience with that because I've talked about this before, rural northern Maine. There wasn't really like gay cruising spots in the middle of the
Yeah.
woods up. You know what I mean? You get eaten by a bear. Not the
I mean,
leather
literally.
daddies, but no bear, no bears and otters up there. No, just kidding. Um, but yeah, so when I was in that stage of my life where I was trying to meet other gay men, I was, college age at that point, and I could go to a gay bar, whether it was like in Maine or when I visited New York or, went down to Miami or what have you. There was plenty of opportunities to meet gay people where gay people go, which are the gay bars. Um, but I kind of, on that note, it's almost too bad that people nowadays aren't getting that shared experience of like going to a communal place for a culture,
Mm.
right?
Mhm,
We have
mhm.
all these apps, but there's not really an excuse. My best friend, Charlie, he actually, it's, I'm okay. He passed away in the last couple of weeks. I met him when I was 19. Um, and I don't know, he was probably in his late 40s, early 50s at the time. And he was going through a divorce from his wife. He had a couple of kids that were actually, my age.
Mm.
And he was accepting that part of himself that he was bisexual,
Mm.
And so he was coming to terms with that at the same time I was coming to terms with my sexuality. And we met each other at that bar. Now, if it was like the app world and I saw this person that was much older than me on the app, there's no way. There's no
Mm.
way I would have been like, yeah,
Right,
let's
okay.
meet up. But
Yeah.
because it was organic, we were at a bar, he was shooting pool, we struck up a conversation, we ended up becoming friends. Like opportunities like that, I feel like aren't really happening for the younger generation to necessarily meet the older generation, to get the stories, to hang out, to just be friends,
Yeah, yeah.
because it is such a hypersexualized, very transactional experience now.
Mm.
I'm
I
not
think
sure
that's a great
people
word,
where people
transactional.
go. Where do people go now to meet? Because I know a lot of gay bars have closed. I mean, there's still some, which is
Mm.
great, but it used to be really like the watering hole, the communal space where everybody came. And I think, that's something that I miss.
Hmm. I think that's very well said. I'll say that I think I wasn't really involved in the, bathroom stall park hookup scene or any of that stuff. I got in my first
That's where I met you.
We're not telling them that.
Oh,
We're saving that. That's exclusive information.
okay. We'll save that for the bloopers.
Yeah, that's bloopers. Patreon. I got with my first serious relationship, I want to say in like 2012, and that went on for about 10 years. So the apps were kind of in their infancy at that point, and I think they were still very wholesome at that point. So
Not Grinder.
no, not Grinder. Grinder
You
was
can never
always
refer to that
Grinder.
app as whole.
It's wholesome, maybe wholesome, but not wholesome.
Jesus.
I mean, so what I'll say is that before I got my first serious relationship, I think it was definitely more of going to places where you knew other queer people would be. That would definitely be bars. I mean, another place was the LGBTQ plus resource center at my college. That was another safe space for me. So I didn't do I didn't do the stall stuff. And again, I'm not here to kink shame for anyone that did or for anyone that still does. Hey, you do you, go off. Um, I think with the apps, I think it definitely has changed. I think Mark, like you said, I think that there is a loss of an organic connection that you have with someone with the apps. I do think that things are a bit more transactional now in regards to meeting with people through apps. I think it's just also the way that our world is with these digital platforms, these digital avenues to try to contact each other. There are pieces of ourselves that we're hiding from each other now. And it's not that when you first meet somebody, you've got to lay all of your cards down on the table, but it just seems like so many people keep so much more hidden. And I think that maybe the apps have made it easier to do that. And
It's
when you're
like an
trying,
emotional closet.
yeah, it absolutely is. It's an emotional closet. It's a safe space of sorts, or it's I think it's the illusion of safety
Mhm.
sometimes. People just don't want to be vulnerable. And I think in some ways the apps have been an unhealthy way to cope with not being vulnerable. So I think it's better in terms of it being safer to find fellow people that are queer. But I do think that it's worse, like you said, Mark, in really being able to get an organic connection with somebody. It's it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Uh, Moving on to something that I was also not really uh, paying attention to when I was a teenager watching this movie, again, with Steven hooking up in the bathroom. Um, I didn't realize that the men that he was hooking up with were much older than he was, at least 10 years. Um, and I think the same thing going outside of the hookup culture of the bathroom, the same thing goes for his friend Linda, who is hooking up with her driving instructor. And John, the love interest, I think it's pretty clear that John also fooled around with men in the bathrooms as well. And probably those men were probably older as well. Because if Stephen was pulling older men, I'm assuming that John was pulling older men too. I'm assuming that that's just the type of clientele that came in through the restroom. So, looking at the movie now in 2024, um, what do we think that they were thinking in 1998 when they wrote this and when they told this story, or at least this section of the story?
I'm wondering if the filmmaker is basing this on experience of some kind.
Mhm, mhm.
Uh, because I mean, you and I could both find it pretty relatable. And again, as I said at the top, it's like there didn't seem to be a judgment on it. It was just like, okay, this is where people in that town go to meet each other, that were into to men. And then as far as like the older men are concerned, well, I mean, it wasn't a bar, it wasn't a club, it wasn't a place where like younger people would hang out because there probably wasn't something available to them at that time or that area. And so this is just sort of like a communal space. And I think that this is maybe just reflective of the time. Maybe just there wasn't a lot of younger out people there, but in that town, there were some people that had maybe grown up, gone out of high school, graduated college, and were like, you know what, I am gay, and I'm going to go to this random bathroom, and I'm going to meet up with other men here because this is my option. And
Right,
well,
right.
these, a hot Twinkie comes in, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to say no.
So, I mean, with them being, because I'm assuming that they're like 16 and 17, like how does
Well,
that
they're
element?
were they seniors? I get the impression they
Uh,
were both like senior age because they were applying to colleges.
I think they're senior age, but I mean,
So probably they could be 18.
they could be 18, maybe 17, but
I'm
it's
I'm gonna say for my junk that they were at least 18.
I mean, I think as you said, Mark, I think there is definitely an honesty in that part of the story. And it's something that I mean this and it's something that definitely, has happened, does happen. I am not advocating for pedophilia in any way. I want to make that clear right now.
Saying we are against it.
In case anybody tries to come back and
Why?
take a sound bite.
Yeah.
I wonder if the story were told.
This podcast has been sponsored by the Anti-Pedophilia Hotline. We take a strong anti-pedophilia stance at Cinema Z. Is that
I
good?
do. Thank you, Mark. Yes, that was perfect. Thank you. I do wonder if that story were being told today, if it would be told that honestly. Again, not advocating for pedophilia, but the reality, but just the reality of these high school kids going to these bathrooms to hook up. It's just a reality. And with how things are in our media today, with how things are in social media today, I do wonder if the story would have been told that authentically. So, moving on, there is the element of the story of Romeo and Juliet that is forever in the backdrop of this movie. I believe that Stephen is reading Romeo and Juliet. He's reading it on the bench outside of the bathroom.
Upside down, but yes.
Yes, he's reading it right upside down. And then in class, is it his English class or his literature class? It's also
Yeah.
being studied
Can we
as
talk
well.
about that moment for a second, though, just to pivot? The
Yeah, yeah.
moment where he is outside of the bathroom. Like, I related to like a whole lot of this. Now, you don't have to be in those same scenarios. Like, straight people can listen to this pod and still relate to being a teenager, trying to maybe introduce yourself to someone for the first time and being ridiculously nervous and squirming and just not even knowing, being shortness of breath. There was the actor that played the gay kid that came out there with the writer.
Yeah.
He played it so well because he played it with this vulnerability. He played it with this it was almost like he didn't have the breath in his lungs, right? He just had this constant shortness of breath, this constant, like almost state of nausea from anxiety. He played it with so much anxiety and nerves, which, I think a lot of people can relate to. Like, it's not a gay thing or, a straight thing. It's a human condition where
Yeah.
you are, going out on a limb for the first time, and you're afraid of rejection, you're afraid of people finding out a secret about you, you're afraid of all these different things. I mean, the amount of fear this kid probably had to sit there. And he had the book as a prop, but he wasn't
Right,
even going to
right.
try to read it. And then that one, the guy that comes and sits next to him, it's just like, yeah, it would help if it was right side up. And he didn't even realize, not because he was faking it. I think he was going to try to read the book to calm his nerves or something, but it's just he was just too unfocused. I mean, he was
Yeah.
too nervous. So I found that whole part of it really relatable, and I liked that scene a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the stakes are. I mean, the stakes are always high with us as human beings. The stakes are always high with us when it comes to matters of the heart, putting yourself out there. But especially at that age where you really are figuring certain things out for the first time, um, it's the stakes are incredibly high. So yeah, I agree with you, Mark. Very well said. Very much indeed. Um, so in regards to Romeo and Juliet continually being in the backdrop of this film, it is very much hinted that the romance between John and Stephen will end up in tragedy. You have everything working against them, whether it's society, whether it's the matter of them just trying to find time to be together, um, whether it's the fact that John is just at a place in his journey where he's not comfortable. He has not accepted certain things about himself. Stephen is in a different place where he has accepted certain things about himself. Um, and this element, we recognize it being younger, being teenagers at that stage in our lives. But, as adults, we recognize some of this too. We've all been in that situationship, if you will. We've all been there. So my question is, in those moments where there's everything that's working against you, is it worth it to try to make it work? Or is it better to just walk away?
Well, I don't think you have a choice sometimes, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
When it comes to love, I know it sounds cliche, but you really can't choose who you love. Uh, Again, this movie was just so relatable. I know, that uh, the story is about kids, and I'm not, I don't typically watch a lot of movies with kids, but I found the story here very compelling and relatable. So when I was in college and outside of college, like I dated multiple straight questioning men. It was kind of my whole thing. That's pretty much I exclusively dated guys that were closeted.
That was your
Um,
repertoire. That was your body of work.
yeah, yeah. I wasn't into guys that really wore their sexuality on their sleeve because I was not somebody that wore my sexuality on my sleeve, and I just was uncomfortable with it. It was part of myself I was uncomfortable with, so I felt
Mm,
more comfortable around other people that were hiding it, right? And so
mhm.
I had some really wonderful relationships with some great men, but one in particular, we were together, and then he left and was with a woman for a while, and we
Mm,
tried to stay friends, and then inevitably he would leave whatever girlfriend and come back to me. We'd be
mm,
together for a
mm.
while, and then he'd leave me again. This happened 3 4 times, uh, and it
How
never got easy. It always
how
hurt.
long was
And
that?
uh geez, like 5 years.
Wow. Wow.
Um,
Okay.
and I think the last time was the last time,
Mm,
and where I had just had enough. Now, I never stopped loving him. It never got to a point where I never felt like, this person wasn't my love, right?
mm,
It kind of like in the story, like at the end of the story, like that was so relatable too. Like the kid in this story is Stephen, had to walk away, right?
right, right.
And I got to that stage too where it was just too much. There was just a one step too far, and
Mhm.
that's how far it got. And I had to turn and walk away from my own heart. And I think that's a choice we all have to make, not only with our romantic relationships, but sometimes with friendships,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes with jobs,
Mm-hmm.
where you get to a point where you just feel like, nah, I'm going back, right?
Yep.
And yeah, so again, this movie is great for that, and I can certainly relate to uh his character, and I see the Romeo and Juliet aspect of this, the star-crossed lovers, and nobody wants them to be together, and the two families and what have you. But um yeah, as far as that's concerned, um yeah, I can definitely relate to that aspect of the story.
I think, when I was younger, I used to think it was always an either or in terms of situationships or even being in relationships that are not, not romantic in nature. Of it just being an either or of, well, this happened, therefore this has to happen. You're disrespected, you walk away. That's it. Sometimes it is that simple, and listeners, humans, I want to say, in any kind of relationship, romantic, job, friendship, there's something that made you uncomfortable. You saw what you saw, you felt what you felt what you felt. It's all valid. You know what you saw, you know what you felt. Don't deny it. You know what it was. Now, in addition to that, as I've gotten older, um there is room for correction. Sometimes, depending on the situation, there's also room for correction. Now, if that other party is making an honest effort and showing improvement, I think then there's a room and there's a reason to stick around and to stay and not to walk away. I think if there's no sign of growth, if there's consistent showing of disrespect and lack of appreciation, then yeah, you gotta go. But sometimes the other party makes the effort and they do make an improvement. And I would say leave room for that. But also know your limit. Like Mark said, know your limit and know when it's a step too far and walk away. And I think that's going to be a great jumping off point to this next segment, or to this next topic, rather. RuPaul, or Mamaru, as I like to call her, she says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? So Stephen and John are very much in different places in their journey of self acceptance. Stephen has more or less accepted the fact that he's gay or queer, at least at this point in his life. He has taken ownership of that. He even writes that article taking ownership, and the article is titled "Get Real," which I love. I love. There's an authenticity and there's an honesty to that. And after he speaks up and accepts this award at the school, for, I believe, for the article itself, he leaves John shortly after that and pretty much says, I can't do this anymore. And also says to John, which I think is a very beautiful thing in his moment of choosing himself. There's still a little bit of a moment of selflessness where he says, I want you to be happy. And he says that to John before he walks away and takes care of himself. So my question is, Mark, when did you choose you? Has there been a moment where you chose yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is that relationship that I was talking about, because that was just a jumping off point for a lot of things. I sold my car and a bunch of stuff, and I just got a one-way plane ticket, moved out of the state. I just put everything behind me, wanted just a fresh, clean break. And so that was really helpful. I did a lot of traveling for a number of years,
Hmm.
like a decade, and it was really, people are asking me all the time. They're like, "Oh, why were you moving all the time? Why did you go all over the place?" And I think that my answer confuses people, or maybe they just think I'm even more weird. But I was looking. for me. I was looking for answers. I was looking
Mm,
to figure out who I was and my place in the world and what I was capable of, and what I wanted to learn as much as I could and soak up as much information as I could. And I didn't think that it was helpful just to remain, um, in the same place, that I grew up in, and
mhm.
expect to have my, my life sort of like changed like that, you know what I mean? Or to have that level of growth that I was looking for by staying in one place. I just feel like travel has a way of being able to open up people's minds by meeting different people from different cultures and people of all ages and walks of life, and being able to just see with your own eyes and feel with your own tactile senses and learn that way, more than reading in a book about what life is. I think you have to get out and experience it.
Mm, mm. Very well said. I'll say for myself that, it really hasn't been until I want to say the last 6, 7 years that I've learned to choose myself and to speak up for myself. There have been relationships, both romantic and friendships, that I have left for certain reasons. And I think at the end of the day, it was just the best option for me. There have been jobs that I have left when I realized it was no longer good for me and it was just unhealthy for me. One story that I always share in terms of jobs, but I think it can sometimes apply to other avenues of your life as well when it comes to choosing you. I remember working at this job and not enjoying the atmosphere, not enjoying the supervisors, the way in which the supervisors supervised the employees. Something was just not right and not okay. And we would have these monthly reviews or evaluations. That's what they were called. We'd have these monthly evaluations where we would just be, spoken to about our progress and about things moving forward, where we saw ourselves moving forward. And I remember in that particular interview, and this is probably the first, I think, and only time still that I've done this, I was asked, okay, so, where do you see yourself going in the next couple of months, or, what do you see yourself doing in the future here? And I said to the supervisor, I said, actually, this is unfortunately my resignation. This is actually going to be it for me. And I decided that in the moment. I didn't decide it maybe mentally and emotionally. I'll be honest. I decided it um, 2 weeks before. But in my head, as a specific decision, it didn't. It came out in that moment of me saying, "Actually, you know what? I think I'm done," and that was it. And it came out of my mouth, and I surprised myself when I did it. Um, and I'll say that to say, again, it was an atmosphere that I wasn't comfortable in, I wasn't happy in, and I kind of just simply decided to just walk away and say, I'm done. And it was a revelation of, oh my, this is it. I'm done. And I think, listeners, I think that sometimes things can be very complex. Not everything is cut and dry and black and white. And then sometimes, um, it really can be as simple as you saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm walking away now. I say all that to say that's a moment where I chose myself. I think that's a moment that I'm proud of. And to give a little bit more follow up with that, I was a little concerned about money and what I was going to do in terms of finances. And after that, not much long after that, consistently some sort of job, something that was going to give me a paycheck, something that was going to give me a paycheck here, 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 and it carried me out through the rest of the year. I try not to give too much to divine intervention. I do believe that you have to do the work to get to where you need to be, but I will definitely say in that situation where I decided to just say I'm done and I'm walking away, the universe, God, whatever it was, it continued to take care of me until the very
Hallelujah.
end. Moving on to the next subject. I want to give a shout out to Linda in this movie. You know, on this journey, this queer journey that some of us are on, we have all been, hopefully, we have all been fortunate enough to have a Linda in our lives. We've been fortunate enough to have that best friend that stood by us as we were going through hell, trying to figure out what we wanted. Do you have you had a Linda in your life? Who was yours? Do you have a Linda now? Is Linda in the room with us right now?
All right, Miss Cleo. Oh, Miss Cleo. No, I wish I had a Linda.
Mm.
I there was definitely girls that I was close with when I was younger that were former girlfriends of mine that reminded me a lot of Linda.
Mm.
But no, when I was going through my journey, for the most part, a lot of it was by myself. My friend Charlie, I guess, who I met, like I said, when I was 19, I met him at that bar. Um, we were able to process things. I would say that he's the closest, I guess, to my Linda because we were able to share whatever without judgment. And I could literally open up every door to every closet in my, whole existence. And he could go around with a flashlight and not be spooked and stay and hang out and be welcome in my house, you know. Um, and I can't say that about a lot of people. It's been tough since because there were other people in my life. And, a few of those people have passed on as well. And the people that I've met that are still alive have chosen for whatever reason that I guess they opened too many doors in my home and decided that what was there they didn't want any part of anymore, and so they left my life. Um, so yeah, I was happy to have Charlie for as long as he was in my life, and it's one of those things where it's time and trust. There are people in my life right now that I care very deeply about. And I would love to just fling open all the doors and be like, here, this is me.
Mm.
But I've been, I think, burned a lot. I think we all get burned a lot by people that we open ourselves up to, and people just decide for whatever reason that we're not worthy of their attention or affection, and they leave. And I guess it's happened a few too many times for me to feel that comfortable,
Hmm.
and it's unfortunate. Uh, there are some people in my life that I'm extremely close to right now, and I'm building that trust with, and maybe they will turn into my new Linda. Um, but for now, it's baby steps, and it's learning to open up again after the trauma of so many doors being shut. Yeah.
Mm. No, I hear that. I absolutely hear that. Sometimes you got to have a my theater teacher used to do these exercises with his students, with us, where he would have all the actors really expand their bodies really big, stretch out every limb in their body, and then he'd have us do these contractions where we'd close our bodies up as much as we could. We'd fold our arms, fold our legs, all that stuff.
I saw
And he
that in
was
Barry, and he was a serial killer.
I say that to say, what he said to us was, when we were closing up our bodies, he said, you know what, sometimes you have to have a contraction. You got to have a healthy contraction. That's what he called it, to protect yourself from certain things. Sometimes you have to protect yourself, and it's necessary. So just speaking on what you were talking about, Mark, you know what? I say good for you, and take care of yourself. That's a good thing. For me, I definitely I was fortunate and blessed enough to have some Lindas in my life. My cousin Margaret, uh, was very much a Linda in my life when I was coming out of the closet and just trying to figure stuff out. Um, I had a friend named Joel, who, for the time that we were good friends, he was also very influential in helping me to be comfortable with who I was. He literally pushed me to go to my first gay bar when I want to say, God, yeah, when I was 21. He pushed me to go to my first gay bar, and you know, I I have to say, if it were not for those Lindas, if we're not for Margaret, if we're not for Joel, I would not be uh, closer to where I was getting more comfortable with myself. So you know what? Shout out to those Lindas. Thank you very much. Um, I added this because I have an unhealthy obsession when I watch a movie. If I'm really into the movie, if I'm really into the characters, I have a very unhealthy obsession with what happened after that. I always want to know, okay, what happened after the movie went off? What happened after the credits? What happened off screen? What happened to the life of these characters? So I'm gonna say it is 2024. It has been 26 years since high school. What do we think happened to Stephen and John? Do we think they spoke again? Did they find each other on Facebook? Did they find each other on Grindr? What do you think?
I don't think that they reconnected. I think that maybe they communicate online at some point. They got Facebook and reconnected online. I think that John probably ended up, you know, a low level manager at his local, Target or something. And then Stephen, Stephen probably ended up, being a successful writer. He came to know himself at a time when it was really important to know yourself. Like
Right.
when you're, just graduating high school, entering the world, being sure of yourself at that time is really important. All right. So he also knew what he really liked to do. He was passionate about it. He's always already winning awards for it. So
Hmm.
maybe he's a journalist at this point.
Hmm.
And probably successful in love. And I think that maybe John, I don't know, maybe he's still using the apps at this stage in his life to.
Let's see. I definitely think that Stephen went on to be an accomplished journalist, or maybe even started to do some sort of some activism in the queer community. I'll definitely say that I think he's doing well for himself. I think he is in a much more comfortable place in his life with who he is. Uh, and I think he's gone on to do some pretty amazing stuff. I think that John, hmm, I think that John probably had it rougher. I'll say that unless he had some kind of rude awakening, which maybe came in his college years, or maybe even later down the road, uh, maybe maybe he became more comfortable with who he was. he was already taking steps to explore that. I mean, if we're talking about the bathroom, if we're talking about his relationship with Stephen, he was already taking steps to explore. So he wasn't necessarily repressing it. So I'm gonna be optimistic and say that, at least in terms of who he is, he figured it out somewhere along the way. But I think it took him much later to figure it out. I'm gonna say
He,
after college.
he peaked in high school. It was all downhill after that.
Yeah, I do think that he probably tried to reach out to Steven and apologize. But I'm pretty sure that Steven was just, I don't think that Steven let it affect him to the point of it being some sort of a traumatic response. I think Steven is in a place now where he knows enough about himself that he's fine and he's okay, and he probably just accepted the apology and just move on. And I think John might still be in his feelings and have regret even 26 years later. That's what I think. So the time has come for one of our favorite segments, Director's Cut.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
In this segment, we are going to talk about and reenact some of our favorite scenes from the movie. So, scene 1 is our introduction to Linda and our introduction to the relationship that Linda and Stephen have. And Linda, being the beautiful soul that she is showing her care for Stephen and also holding him accountable, and she's reading him a little bit, and I appreciate it. So
Linda was so fierce. I just want to say that, listeners.
yes, please.
We could have pulled any scene that Linda was in, and she would have read the scene to filth, and chewed it up and spit it out. Now, the actress, I got to look her up because she just owned it. And
Yes, she did.
it's not easy, especially like, if you're in a gay film starring two, very young, attractive, like, gay men, and, the audience is a gay audience, to get their attention off the two male leads wasn't an easy task. But when she's on the
Right.
screen, you're like, oh, what's Linda gonna say next? Like, I was
Right.
hanging off her words. I was like, she's great. So thanks for picking a Linda scene. I'm excited to play it with you.
Okay, so who do you want to play? Does that mean you want to play Linda?
Sure, I'll be Linda.
Okay.
Action.
Hot.
Jealous. Oh, Linda, he's stunning. He's got eyes like Brad Pitt.
Hot.
He's witty and gorgeous.
Dangerous.
Linz, I'm always safe.
Safe? Safe about what?
Picking up men in toilets.
Oh, you promised me you wouldn't do that anymore.
I don't. I was just sitting outside, minding my own business, and...
Steve, babe, don't bullshit me. Some git starts blogging you outside the public blog. He's up for one thing.
Where else am I supposed to meet other blokes like me? And he's not some randy old git. His name is Glenn. He's up for the same thing I am. We're going to the woods on Friday.
The woods. Steve, you did it in the woods. You could have been...
Queer bashed by squirrels.
He could have done anything to you. Or you could have been arrested. It's so risky.
Life's a risk, Linz.
Cut.
I felt like I came across a little bit like, one of the characters in Little Britain. But there was this teenage girl in Little Britain that was like, yeah, but no, but, yeah, but no, but. Anyway, if you're fans of Little Britain, you might recognize the accent that I tried to do.
All right, scene number 2. This scene is this is the first meeting between John and Stephen. And I think that's the only thing that you need to know is that so Stephen went to the bathroom like he always does, and he gets an anonymous contact through the bathroom, and Stephen says, "Okay, well, I don't know who you are, but meet me outside." And Stephen goes back to the bench outside the restroom, and up walks John. Mark, who do you want to play?
You know what? It doesn't matter to me. What are you leaning towards? Sure.
I'll do John.
Okay.
Okay.
Action.
Carter, isn't it? Fag?
Sorry? Oh, thanks.
This is a nice park.
Yeah, it's nice.
Filthy habit.
What?
Smoking. I only started because all my mates did. Peer pressure, they call it.
Yeah. Peer pressure.
Don't smoke to impress me. Be yourself.
Yeah. Listen, Dixon,
Hey, my name is John.
John, about what happened in there.
Forget it, mate. My mistake. I don't know what came over me.
In there, it's usually a question of not knowing who came over you.
I didn't know it was you.
I certainly didn't know it was you.
Look, let's just put it out of our minds. You don't know why you did it either, right? You mean you're... Oh, jeez. I thought when Kevin and the guys called you names that they're only taking a piss, right? I mean, you're not really dodgy.
Yeah. I'm dodgy.
Oh, fuck me. No, I don't mean... I just mean... Fuck me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I'm not. What are you up to now? Do you fancy going for a coffee or something? Or...
I live around the corner.
No, I don't like coffee anyway. I should get some training in tonight. Sports day.
Yeah. Good luck.
Are your parents in?
Cut to Steven's house. You did say no sugar, didn't you?
Yeah.
Here, it's hot. Why don't you sit down? There's only the bed, I'm afraid.
It's okay.
The bed?
The tea.
Oh, yeah, great.
Didn't have you down for a soccer fan.
I'm not.
Well, why all the... Oh. How long have you known that you're dodgy?
Since I was 11.
Fuck me, 11 years old.
Yeah. When I was in the Cubs, there was this porn mag thing being passed around, and all the other kids were deciding which girl they liked and stuff, and all the other kids were deciding which girl they liked and stuff. And one kid whispers to me, I don't know what all the fuss is about. I'd rather see another boy's willy anytime. So I said, so would I.
I've never really talked to another bloke about this stuff.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm just interested. Well, intrigued. Like, does anyone know?
Well, only Linda. She's a mate of mine.
What about your parents?
Haven't got a clue.
Well, what if they found out?
I'm not gonna let them find out. They'd be gutted.
Blimey.
Oh, that must be Linda's.
What's it doing in your bed?
Please.
Bloody hell, a gay teddy bear.
John.
John leans in for a kiss. I can't handle that.
It's all right, John. Lots of gay blokes don't like kissing.
I'm not gay. Look, I don't know why. It was just a bit of fun. I only came for coffee.
You don't like coffee.
Oh, stop being so fucking clever.
Cut.
Oh,
It's like it's so sweet because even in this moment, Steven isn't trying to be witty in this moment with the coffee bit. He's not trying to be witty at all.
no.
He's being so genuine and so earnest. And he's like, but
It's so earnest. It's so earnest.
it's just like, but you don't like coffee. I don't understand. You don't like coffee. And I think in this moment too, I think that John he's falling more in love with him in all of this. I think even in that last line where he's like,
Yeah.
"Stop being so clever," it's the moment where he's like, "Yeah, I'm falling in love with you. Even this little bit that you just said to me right now is making me fall for you." It's
Do you
it's very
think
sweet.
that
Yeah.
John, like, do you think that he had been looking at Stephen before they met at the bathroom? Because, I think Stephen clearly had eyes for John, but do
Yeah.
you think that John was also looking at him beforehand?
I would say there's a curiosity. There's definitely a curiosity.
Because he knew
Absolutely.
what the other guys called him and stuff, so he probably thought about it and was like,
He was
"Oh,
paying
maybe he
attention.
is."
No,
Yeah,
I
he
think
was.
you're absolutely right. He was paying attention. He knew what was up. So, if there was anything that we could change about this film, what would we change and how?
We've brought this up on the pod before about movies of certain time periods and being a product of it, right? And we did was that Eddie Murphy movie? I was on my
Oh,
pick, Trading
trading.
Places.
Yeah,
Yeah, I that movie is one that is of the '80s, and
right.
there's not a thing I would change about that one. And I got to say the same thing here. It's like, would modern viewers that have, I guess, really delicate sensibilities get offended by the fact that uh, it's showing gay romance in a bathroom and the older younger dynamic? There's plenty of problematic elements here. Listen, I invite all the listeners come and essentially come at us about this film for all of the problematic elements. But it's a movie of its time, and that's just a reality that a lot of people face. And the movie doesn't shy away from it, and there's an honesty there, and um, relatability. And I think that I think to change anything to be more, I guess, politically correct for modern viewers would not be authentic. And I think it would take away from the things about the film that I really liked and I thought were relatable to that period of my life, and the feelings I felt and the experiences I had and what have you. Yeah, so I please don't touch this film. Like, if the film gets done a director's cut, an anniversary edition, don't mess with it. Don't try to
Yeah.
clean it up or make it PC, please.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I would have to say that I think that this is definitely a product of its time. It's a time capsule. I think that I appreciate in this film, I mean, again, going back to, meeting up in the bathrooms, I appreciate that, it's in no way glorifying. It's in no way glorifying, the age gap between these characters. It's just presenting it as a reality of the world that these people live in. Um, one of my theater professors used to talk about theater, and she used to say, "It's sexy, it's provocative, it's theater." And and I have to say the same thing about, it's the same thing about film and about certain aspects and slices of life. We have to be authentic and honest about what it is. And I think that this film does a good job with that authenticity. So I don't think there's anything that I would change either. Maybe, I don't know, maybe more Linda? I don't know. I just love Linda. Linda's just like,
We love you, Linda.
we love Linda.
Which brings us to standouts.
Yes.
And this is the section of the pod where we talk about stuff that we love about the film that we haven't previously mentioned. And well, that's Linda. I think I brought her up earlier, but yeah, bring up Linda. What a delight! The actress killed it. Um, I really enjoyed that aspect. I think there was some music in this film also, and I was like, oh yeah, like I remember some of the songs that were in it.
Hmm.
Um, I appreciated that, you know, they did have younger actors in this. It would have been very easy, and especially like in the 90s, to have 30-year-old actors playing teenagers, which I've
Right, right.
seen way too many times. And although these guys, they they definitely like, especially John, didn't look like he was 17, you know. I mean, he looked a little bit older than that. They did both look reasonably young, high school-ish enough, where
Yeah.
it's believable and
Yeah.
didn't take you out of the film. So I appreciated that aspect. But yeah, there's a lot to like about this. But yeah, Linda killed it.
Yeah. I think for me, there's a beautiful moment in the I guess the high school dance where John and Stephen are dancing with two opposite partners. I think John is dancing with his girlfriend, and I think Stephen is dancing with Linda. And the way that it's shot, it looks like it's one take. I could be wrong, but it's like the camera is moving around the dance floor, and we rotate to Steven and Linda, and then we rotate around to, I think, two other characters in the movie, and we see them slow dancing, and then we rotate back to John and his girlfriend, and then in another moment we get in frame John facing the camera, and his girlfriend's back is to the camera while they're slow dancing. And in the same frame, we see, I believe, Steven closer up. Uh, and maybe Steven is facing forward as well, while Linda is facing backwards, or it might be flipped, where I think Steven, his back is to the camera while he's looking at John, and Linda's facing the camera. I know it's really hard to explain, listeners, but if you watch it, you can just see that in frame. You can see that while both of these people are slow dancing with their partners, they're actually looking at each other. And it's a beautiful, beautiful shot. I love it. And over that, the song You Are So Beautiful to Me is playing. It's just, it's so heartwarming.
Such a great high school dance song, wedding song. Like I remember going to weddings, you know, in the 90s and early aughts and hearing that song. So it was just like, oh yeah, it's such a like a of the time song. It was great.
Yeah. All right. Time for some trivia.
Trivia.
Trivia. So, in 1992, Patrick Wilde wrote What's Wrong with Angry. It was a stage play about a gay love story between two British schoolboys. Wilde said that he wrote the play because I was sick of being told by people, even gay people, that it's easier to be gay now. But I don't believe it's easier than it ever was to come out. What's Wrong with Angry first opened at the Lost Theatre in 1993 in Fulham, London, and was then staged in January of 1994 at the Oval House in London, where it sold out and was extended for an extra week at the Battersea Arts Centre studio. After the final performance, film director Simon Shore and producer Stephen Taylor approached Wilde about producing a film version of the play.
During the early development of the script, the production had the working title of Sweet 16. I'm so glad they didn't go with that. What a shit title.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's not it. Get Real was perfect. During development, director Simon Shore and writer Patrick Wilde struggled to find a way to make heterosexual audiences understand why Stephen was so tortured by staying in the closet. Shore later recalled that he got Patrick to write a list of 20 reasons why it's bad to be gay and not come out, and that this list became a template for how they would make Stephen's predicament comprehensible. For example, one item on Wilde's list was girls fall in love with you and you don't know what to tell them, which prompted a subplot in which a girl at school has a crush on Stephen. I wanted some way of identifying with the way Stevens being gay impacts everyone in his circle of friends, Shore says.
Yeah, and how relatable was that? Like, yeah, because it's one of those things where like you don't want to come out of the closet, you're not out to friends or family or anybody else, but you don't necessarily want to lead on this other person, but you have to keep up appearances, and it's all part of this thing, and it's like society is making you do this really, because you're just terrified to come out of the closet. So yeah, it's very complex, and I love that they had that plot in there. Filming on Get Real began on the 17th of August, 1997. Interesting, because that's very close to the time when Princess Diana was shot. Anyway, that's not in the script. I went a little off script, but that's just reminding me of August 97. Anyway, with shooting taking place throughout Basingstoke. Basingstoke. So our English listeners at this point,
forgive us.
They are going to come at me and throw crumpets at me. Anyway,
no.
including the Cranbourne School, Alton School, Market Square, Foyle Park. That's probably where the bathroom is. Sorrel's Corpse. What the hell is that? And the War Memorial Park. Jeez, you guys. Come on, England. Get your shit together. Learn how to name stuff.
oh God. We're getting canceled. This is the last podcast.
This is the last one.
So the Vine Community School was used as the principal location for the fictional Belvedere School in the film.
Filming in Basingstoke. I don't know.
Basingstoke. I think it's Basingstoke.
Is it Kim Basinger or Basinger? It ended, that place, the place where it was filmed, it ended on the 21st of September with production moving to the Millennium Falcon. Oh, sorry, not Millennium Falcon. Millennium Studios in Borehamwood. Okay, sure. On the 22nd of September, where filming took place in the studio. Scenes were shot in Stephen's bedroom and inside the public toilet. The entire movie took 6 weeks to shoot. Now, that last part I could read.
Also, like, that's a very short time. That's what, a month and a half to film a movie?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So, final thoughts. I'm gonna say a 1 out of 5. What are we gonna give this? On a scale of 1 to 5 cups of tea? Because tea gets mentioned so much, or no? Is that too basic?
Too basic.
1 to 5.
Glory holes?
Yes. On a scale of 1 to 5 glory holes. What do you rate this film?
Man, Matt, you're driving me crazy. I want to start. I think the audiences are listening to this pod and they're just like, oh, they love all the films. Oh, it's going to be another 5 stars. Well, it is going to be another 5 stars. This is another 5 glory holes. I will give this 5 glory holes. I will put my pen in every one of them with a little crinkle of paper saying, watch this. Watch this film and watch it with me outside on the bench. 5 minutes. I'll meet you there. We'll watch this film on my laptop. Anyway, so much to like about it. I love, like I said at the beginning, the complex characters that you got around the board. You have the one-off, like the girl that's attracted to Stevens, wanting to be his girlfriend. It's not understanding what she's doing wrong, right? And why he's not wanting to be with her. And she's not really getting the same vibe. She kisses him and kisses him again, and it's just not working. You get the friends of John that are just, I guess, insulating him because he's able to, like, I guess, pass really well, and then all of a sudden, as the layers of the onion get peeled back, you can watch on their faces as they're getting a little bit like, wait a minute, what's happening here? Especially think of the pool scene, right? When John's just like living his truth out loud and invites his buddy into the pool with him and Steven. And the guy's like, I don't think so, and kind of takes off running. Like, that was a great scene.
Yeah.
But moments like that, you're like, it's a self-aware movie, and I love the fact that there weren't really wooden characters in this. All the actors in it played it really well, and I think the characters were well written.
Yeah. I am also gonna give it 5 glory holes. I think this movie, it's got a very special place in my heart, again, because of when I watched it. But also I
Oh,
think
that's my eye.
oh God.
Sorry.
I mean, like, going back and watching it now, it's much more complex for me now that I'm older and I can see a lot more stuff. I I was transported back in time to coming out in high school, to my first relationship when I was in high school, those conversations that were had between John and Steven. I remember those conversations. I remember the fear that those characters had of any time that anyone looked in their direction for anything, and being worried in this moment. I've been found out. My secret is out. And I don't know what's going to happen next. So I think that's just a testament to the honesty of this movie, and I really appreciated it. And that's why I'm giving it 5 glory holes.
What else can you listen to on the BQN? Replicate yourself a mug of hot chocolate and join Amy, Mark, Christos, and Kelvin as they discuss everything and anything in the Star Trek universe on All Good Things. Boost yourself with an energy drink and join Davey on YouTube and Twitch for reviews and live streams of classic, cheap, and sometimes more recent video games on Bargain Bin Gamer. Brew yourself a pot of coffee and join Jeremiah to discuss Star Trek Voyager on The Captain's Couch. Mix your favorite cocktail and join Mark and Matt at Cinema Z to discuss the films you probably missed but should definitely check out. Pour a cup of tea, Earl Grey, hot, and listen to Stephen and Keith as they discuss the next generation of Trek on Galaxy Class. Get yourself something caffeinated and learn an interesting bit of history with Chrissy and Jason on History with the Szilagys. Have a bowl of Flomeek soup and join Thad and Chrissy and a guest to discuss new episodes of Star Trek as they are released on Infinite Diversity. Have something to sharpen your mind and put your Trek knowledge to the test with the Treksperts quiz. Take a bite out of something that didn't seem edible and join Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley covering all things in New Trek, including that show that is Trek in all but name, The Orville, on Union Federation. Get your Sunday brunch ready for The View Screen, a live weekly talk show hosted by Kelvin and Amy with featured guests talking about all things Trek. Pour a glass of wine and spill some tea with Christos, where he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with an LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the Tea, Bev? And Patreon members get to pass around that green bottle of Aldebaran whiskey once a month on the round table, and they can listen to It's Green with Mark White and Amy's Math Moments.
The Trevor Project offers 24/7 365 crisis services, advocacy, peer support, public education, and research programs, helping to ensure that all LGBTQI+ young people have supportive adults in their lives. For questions about giving or website issues, please contact development@thetrevorproject.org or call 212-695-8650. Once again, that's the Trevor Project, and they have a website online you can check out, or you can call that number. Thank you.
So, Mark, give us a tease. What is the next film on the lineup that we're going to be taking a look at?
Well, if listeners, if you don't know what year this is, it's an election year. Newsflash, there's an election happening. So we kind of put a pin on spooky season this year, and we're going to do election season coverage. So the next couple episodes will be our election or political themed picks. And we just want everybody to just wake up here and make sure that you are getting out and voting and knowing what the issues are. You're paying attention. You're doing research, not just listening to sound bites. Do research for yourself. All of these things are important. And so the films that we're going to bring to your attention are films that hopefully are films that make you think. So the first on the list we're going to do is Frost Nixon. It's a 2008 historical drama film based on the 2006 play of the same name by Peter Morgan, who adapted the screenplay. The film tells the story behind the Frost Nixon interviews of 1977. The film was directed by Ron Howard, and the film reunites two of the original stars from the West End and Broadway productions of the play, Michael Sheen as British television broadcaster David Frost, and Frank Langlia as former United States President Richard Nixon.
We would love to hear what you thought about today's episode, and we hope you'll join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, to continue our discussion there. You can also send your thoughts to @CinemaZPod on BlueSky and let us know if you'd like to recommend a film. Please follow the network on BlueSky, Instagram at BQN Podcasts. Don't forget, you can join the conversation with BQN hosts and fellow fans on our Discord server. You can find an invite link in the episode description. So, Mark, where can people find you when you are not cruising in bathroom stalls and sending pencils with notes wrapped around them through glory holes?
Jeez, I don't have time for much else, really. But when I'm not doing that,
busy.
When I'm not doing that, you guys can find me on the BQN Collective Facebook group. You can find me, well, on BlueSky, MW207, and occasionally on All Good Things, a Star Trek podcast here on this network. And Matt, where can people find you when you are not staying at least 500 feet away from a school at all times?
Oh God! Oh no! Oh. This is the last podcast. This is it. This is where it ends. Oh jeez. So I'm trying to find a way to make this a positive. I'm trying to twist it, and I can't.
Insert ice cream truck sounds.
Oh no, not ice cream truck sounds. It makes it worse. So when those things are not happening, because I am never that close to a school for any reason, you can find me on Instagram and Threads at 1701BLERD. I made a web series about a gay black nerd that uses Star Trek to cope with life. He sees his life like a Star Trek episode. The web series actually made it into a film festival called the Queer Voices New York City Film Festival. It's an LGBTQ film festival, and it's going to be from September 27th to 29th. Stay tuned for the date that the episodes will actually be shown at the festival. So please hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a star rating review and written review that helps others to find the show. You can also follow the entire network's podcasts with our master feed by searching BQN.
At this time, we would like to thank our associate producers, Amy Nelson and Davey Willett. A special thanks to Laz Marquez for the show's original show art. And the opening and closing music for this podcast is titled Dancing Dead and was provided by Ketsa from the Free Music Archive, providing royalty-free music for content creators.
if you'd like to help us keep all our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. We will add you to the Hive Mind Facebook group so you can enjoy It's Green, Amy's Math Moments, and other network perks. With a monthly subscription of $5 or more, you can join our meetings on the Hive Mind Roundtable discussion on the second Saturday of each month. Visit patreon.com/BQN to get all the details and watch your messages.
So I'm going to take this phone into the bathroom. Do you want to continue the discussion while I'm in the bathroom?
Sure. That sounds like a good idea. Let's take it to the bathroom.
Okay.
And I'll bring my copy of Romeo and Juliet. It's just I just have a weird thing where I actually need to read the books upside down.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
But why aren't you wearing pants?